Chapter 2, Clairvoyance, Clear Seeing. All of the powers in the universe are already ours. It is we who have put out our hands before our eyes and cry that is dark. Swami Vivekananda. I'm sorry I slaughtered it. What? What do you mean you see him? Is he standing there? Oh my God, is he behind me? Where is he? What's he doing? What's he wearing? Teresa asked in a panic during a psychic reading in my office. I told her I saw her father and that he was coming through to wish her a happy birthday. This, understandably, freaked Teresa out. She, like many others, was afraid. She practically jumped out of her seat. Whoa, slow down. It's okay, Teresa. I see him in my mind's eye, my third eye, my clairvoyant center. I don't actually see him standing there like he's a real person. I didn't explain to her that I saw Chris, her dad, internally, and also sometimes see images of people externally or physically present, though not nearly as often. That would have really put her over the edge. Clairvoyance, or psychic seeing, is one of the most commonly referred to psychic senses. Many people use the term clairvoyant interchangeably with the word psychic. Though close, you wouldn't be correct. Clairvoyance is only one aspect of intuitive awareness, as there are many other equally grand senses to tap into, but it is definitely a valuable and much used one. Have you ever heard of the third eye? This is the term used to describe the sixth chakra, the indigo-colored energy center located behind your forehead between your eyes. It is what helps you to see psychically and can be focused on when trying to connect with your clairvoyance or your mind's eye. Teresa was right to question whether Chris was actually in the room with us or not. This is a widespread belief, though usually it's wrong. It's more commonly to intuitively see something or someone within our minds than outside our mind or externally. This occurred with Abby as well, though it was a phone session, so she wasn't afraid. I'm seeing a move from Westchester to Long Island. Does this make sense? I asked her. What I actually saw was a map version of Long Island in my mind. That's what we're trying to do, she verified. Abby wrote to me and let me know that they have since made it to Long Island and are very happy. I see so many women around you, almost like a coven, supporting you, helping you with the move, and so much more. Oh, that's great. I thought they may be around, Abby said of her many deceased loved ones. I'm seeing a very small woman, and what's interestingly is there are butterflies all around her. Now, usually I see butterflies for my mom, but I feel like this is a generation above, and that the butterflies have particular meaning to you, I told Abby. This made her cry. She went on to explain her grandmother was only 4'8" and had an almost obsessive love for butterflies. Clothes, jewelry, home decor, all had butterflies on them. They were everywhere, around her, at all times. I saw Abby's little grandmother clearly surrounded by beautiful butterflies. They weren't physically there, near Abby, but they were in my mind's eye. Most people who experience clairvoyance will have a hard time determining at first whether it's their imagination or truly a psychic image. Our imaginary images look very similar to the clairvoyant flashes we sometimes receive in our third eye. Discovering the distance comes with familiarity. Exercise. Clearing out the third eye. Located centrally within your forehead, above your brows, is the sixth chakra, also identified as the third eye chakra. It is this space that you use to clairvoyantly receive any psychic impressions. As with anything that doesn't get used on a regular basis, it has to be cleared periodically to get rid of the cobwebs. Lie back and get comfortable, being sure you won't be disturbed. Invoke your protective bubble of energy, allowing it to surround you and fill you, keeping you free from any negativity or negative energy. Close your eyes. Now focus on your forehead. Be aware of the space between your eyes above the bridge of your nose. Pay attention to what it feels like. Notice if it is bright or dark, warm or cool. Observe any images that may come to mind when you're concentrating on your third eye. Next, imagine that right above your third eye are windshield wipers and allow them to begin moving, slowly cleaning your clairvoyant chakra center. As they do, press your finger and thumb together and imagine you are releasing windshield wiper fluid to help your wipers work even better. Allow the wipers to stop when you are sure your third eye is perfectly clear. Again, pay attention to what the area feels like. Is it any brighter or even darker? Has it changed at all? Has the temperature changed? What images do you see now? Give yourself a few moments to take everything in. When you're ready, open your eyes and immediately write down everything you can remember from both before and after using your wipers. Make note of any differences as well as any similarities. Do you feel any different? Was it comfortable? Uncomfortable? Exciting? Boring? Write it all down. You can refer back to this exercise anytime you want for help in tuning into your clairvoyance or to clear out any blocks in your third eye chakra. Validate me. One of the easiest ways to determine whether you're seeing is merely your own thought or it is truly a psychic vision is to put yourself out there so you can be given feedback. In the beginning, when you are first discovering your awareness, it's encouraging to have validation that what you are receiving is an intuitive image, as an intuitive image is real and not just a figment of your imagination. There is, among many, sometimes the belief that you don't need to know whether you are right or not. You just need to give what you get. I'm throwing my hat in to say, this is not a great idea for people just starting out. In order to develop further, you need to know you're somewhat accurate. Otherwise, it's all guesswork. Once you've gotten to the place where you are as comfortable with your sixth sense as you are when you're wearing flannel pajamas, then and only then should you throw caution to the wind and believe in the truthfulness of your visions. Validation enhances confidence, which in turn will continue to increase the recognition of your psychic flashes. And more importantly, it'll feel awesome. This does not mean, however, that you should give up if you are not validated 100% of the time. One psychic hit is enough to prove you are on to something. Toward the beginning of my professional psychic career, I was on stage doing mediumship, talking to the dead, and in front of about 300 people. What I saw was very clear, yet confusing at the same time. I received clairvoyant flashes of a yellow truck driving and then flipping upside down. I also saw, in my third eye, a young man with big, black, clunky boots and a jean jacket. And I got the letter A. A young man with big, black, clunky boots and a jean jacket. And I got the letter A. And I got the letter A. Now, I was attaching to. The only problem was Dawn, the audience member, denied it. "That's not for me," she said with defiance. "Are you sure? I'm being drawn to you, and I even see you holding his hand before the accident. I'm also getting the name Aaron, or something close to that," I continued, confident I would trigger Dawn's memory. "Nope, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea," she stated, causing me some confusion. "Really? Because it really feels like he's coming to tell you he's okay and that he wishes you well in your marriage. Unless this is for someone else," I asked, scanning the room for any takers. By now, the audience members were buzzing. Was I off? Did I not interpret that correctly? My confidence was taking a huge hit, and I was concerned I was wrong and that it will affect me moving forward with other readings. I normally believed in my visions, if not 100%, then at least 80%. This was making my belief dip down to about 25%. "Okay, well, I'm not sure, but I do sense there will be an explanation soon to come, because I feel like this poor young man tragically passed and is missed by many, including a brother. I'm seeing Aaron wave goodbye to you and his brother. Maybe this will make sense in the future," I finished up, unsure of myself. The workshop continued, and the rest of it went smoothly. Nothing to be concerned about, but the visions I had representing Aaron and the truck still bothered me. That is, until the girl I was pointing out came up to me afterwards. "I'm sorry. That was for me. I just wasn't ready to publicly acknowledge it," Dawn said. "That's why I came here, to say goodbye and to get his approval to move on and marry my fiancé. Aaron and I had a special bond, and he died before we could get married. I loved him so much, and I miss him, but I need to move on." Wow. Thank you so much for validating that for me. I was beginning to think that it was just my imagination. "So, does the description of him and the truck match?" I asked. Everything matched. He flipped his truck and died, and he always wore black Dr. Martens, big clunky boots, and a jean jacket. He has a younger brother who was hoping to hear from him as well. It was all perfect," Dawn continued with a tear in her eye. Thank you, and thank you for being brave enough to come to me. I know Aaron appreciates your recognition as well. And congratulations on your upcoming marriage. He said that he will be there with bells on." The validation I received from Dawn helped me by letting me know it wasn't my imagination. It encouraged me to continue doing my work and to believe in what I was seeing. Sure enough, a few months later I received a message from Dawn that during her wedding ceremony they heard bells tinkling, but didn't know where the sound was coming from. Of course, she and I knew that it was Aaron. What do you see? You may see images with your third eye that appear like photographs or that may show up like movies. I even have images appear on occasion, much like silent, old-time black and white films. There usually is no clearly defined visual you can count on to let you know what you're receiving is real. Realizing you are being shown an intuitive picture comes with being open, believing, and dare I say it, practice. The psychic images I received during the reading with Aaron when Aaron came through are not necessarily precise images of what Aaron looked like or even what the car looked like when he was alive. Instead, I believe what I saw clairvoyantly were symbolic representations of what Aaron needed me to see in order to get the messages through. I received flashes of a tall young man, and separately I saw the shoes and jacket. Then I saw a short, movie-like clip of a friend I went to high school with who died when he flipped his car over 20 years ago. Now, there were definitely differences between the psychic visions and the reality of Aaron's life. But I got the pictures so I could accurately share the message with his old love. For instance, the car my old friend drove was a red sports car. The truck Aaron had flipped was yellow. I knew using my claircognizance, or clear knowing, see chapter 5, that it was a yellow truck versus a red sports car. Through the initial communications that came through my third eye showed me the red car. The truth is, more often than not, the intuitive visions will not always match the physical reality, but will instead be representative or symbolic of what our guides, deceased loved ones, and other helpers will use to get their messages across. Exercise. When is a car really a truck? It's time to open up your third eye. I think it's safe to say most of you have a car or have at least ridden in a car or a truck before. For this exercise, you need to be in a comfortable position, somewhere you won't be disturbed, and have your journal ready and a pen ready. First thing you need to do is invoke your light by using the protection exercise from the introduction. This will help keep any negativity from creeping in its way in and make your experience a positive one. After you've done that, it's time to begin visualizing. Close your eyes and put your hand up to your forehead. With your fingers, touch the spot right in the center above your eyebrows. Some people have an area that seems a bit softer and even recessed. Place your fingers and your attention gently there. Take a deep breath and feel the warmth that is beginning to spread, generating from your third eye, your clairvoyant center. With your fingers remaining on your forehead, think about what your car or your family car or a friend's car looks like. Notice the first color of the outside and its shape. Is it more than one color? Can you see the wheels? What color are the rims? Can you see the back window? Is there a windshield wiper? Are there any bumper stickers or window decals? Do you notice any dings, dents, or scratches? Make a mental note of everything you see as you slowly walk around the car in your mind. Now, it's time to go inside. What color is the interior? Are there different colors? How many seats are there? What type of material are the seats? Where is the gear shifter? Is it standard or automatic? What does the dashboard look like? What gauges are there? Is there a sunroof? Do you see a navigation system or a DVD player? Is there a different type of screen? What about a stereo or speakers? What color is the rug? Are there floor mats? Are there any pockets in the doors on the seats? Any baby seats? What else do you notice about the interior? Again, make a mental note of everything you see and all that you remember, and then take a few deep breaths. Now, think of a different car, possibly one of your friends' cars that you know they have but you've never been inside of. Or think of a car that you've always wanted or that you like the look of. Make sure this dream car is one you can go see, either at someone's house or at a dealership. go through the same process, this time using your psychic vision instead of your memory. With your fingers no longer covering your third eye, tune into the color or colors of the outside and the shape. What color are the rims? Do you see any lettering on the tires? Is the back window plain, or is there antenna lines or defroster lines? How about a windshield wiper? Are there any letters or bumper stickers or window decals? Is the paint free from dings, dents, or scratches? Make a mental note of everything you see clairvoyantly as you slowly walk around the car in your mind's eye. Next, go inside. Is the interior all one color or different colors? How many seats are there, and what type of material are they made of? Any baby seats? Is it standard or automatic? Do you see a clutch? What does the dashboard look like? What gauges are there on the instrument panel? Is there a sunroof or a moonroof? Do you see a navigation system, DVD player, or backup camera? Can you see the stereo or speakers? What color is the rug? Are there any floor mats? Are there any pockets in the doors or the seats? What else do you notice about the interior? Again, make a mental note of everything you see, and then slow down and take a few deep breaths. Without thinking about it, open your eyes and begin recording everything you can about what you psychically saw in the dream car. The more details, the better. Include everything, even if you were unsure of what you saw. If you want, you can also write down what you remembered from your own car on a different page in your journal. This may help to trigger any of the psychic sights you saw in the dream car but are forgetting about. After you've done that, go on a field trip to find that car. If it's a friend's, check out the inside as well as the outside. If it's at a dealer, you may have to look at a few different versions of the car you have to make sense to you. How well did you do? How many details seem to fit? Were you right on or are way off? If you didn't get anything right, it may mean you need a lot more practice working with your third eye. If you got about 50% correct, you're averaging out, and the more you practice, the more fun it will be. If you got higher than that, this may be your prevalent psychic skill. Practice more using different cars or even trucks. You may find you become really good at tapping into your third eye. Interpreting basic symbols. What came first? The egg or, well, the egg? In one of my previous books, the Book of Psychic Symbols, Interpreting Intuitive Messages, I wrote about a reading I did in which I saw eggs, regular chicken eggs, dropping to the floor rhythmically, one at a time. The eggs, I realized, represented my client's time was running out to have children, which she had just been discussing with her fiancé that morning. I recently did another reading for someone else, and yes, there were more eggs. But this time, it was the first thing I saw, and they were lined up as far as I could see in plain white cartons. So, I'm seeing cartons of eggs. The last time I saw eggs was because someone wanted a baby. Either you are pregnant, or this represents fertility, or it's about lots of babies in possibly some other way. I explained to my client, Karen, during a phone session. Do you understand this? No, I'm not pregnant, and I'm not expecting to be considering my husband as a vasectomy. She laughed. Allergic? Although I really think it has to do with being fertile or something. Does this make sense? I continued. I knew it had to mean something if it was one of the first things I was seeing. I saw in my third eye carton after carton of white eggs lined up, fading off into the distance. I really don't know what it could be, Carolyn answered. Okay, well, hold on to it. Maybe it will mean something to you later, I told her, knowing that in some way it was significant. We continued the reading, and within a couple of minutes we figured it out. After telling her other things that came to me, I discovered what it was. Turns out, it was a huge part of her life. She was an OBGYN who helped women with fertility and delivered babies. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even thinking of that. I can't believe I didn't realize the significance of what you were seeing when you first brought it up. It's funny how our occupations just become what we do, and the significance of them starts to fade in the background, Karen exclaimed. Wow. Wow was right. I didn't actually see her in a white lab coat in her office with clients. Instead, I saw eggs, which symbolically indicated to me it was connected with fertility or babies. If I had let it go or discounted it, we never would have gotten to the bottom of what my psychic vision was referring to. Believing in what I knew to be a true impression was crucial in bringing out the information to Karen, which led her to know I was in tune to her energy. What I saw psychically, the egg cartons lined up into the distance, was obviously symbolic and not literal. It did not indicate that she had an infinite number of eggs at home in her refrigerator or that she worked in an assembly line packaging eggs. It also didn't mean she was a chicken. It was, however, an important part of my reading for her because it helped me to understand who she was and what she did, and that it was a significant aspect of her life. Seeing symbols can be tricky sometimes. It's difficult to tell what you are clairvoyantly seeing is real or just a representative of something else. It's essential to practice interpreting some basic psychic symbols so you can be prepared and know what they mean if you see them. In almost every reading I do for my clients, I am given these pictures in my mind's eyes, each one holding a multitude of information. Even more incredible is that at least 1 in 3 readings show me a new symbol that seems to pop up in the subsequent readings. That's why it, without a doubt, is an important part of learning to tune into your psychic sight. Exercise. Symbolically speaking. With your journal in hand, get comfortable. Allow yourself enough time and multiple pages for the next exercise. Then, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Inhale positive energy and exhale any negativity you may have trapped inside your body, mind, or spirit. Do this for at least 3 minutes, releasing any stress or tension. Now, imagine a bubble of white light traveling through you and around you, protecting you, keeping all distractions and negative energy away from you. Push the bubble outward, mentally creating a barrier of love between you and the outside world. Move your attention to the top of your head. Imagine the shape of a cone forming, its tip beginning at the top of your crown or your crown chakra and funneling up toward the sky. This funnel is a beautiful silvery violet color and is buzzing with energy. It is also brimming with information that is significant to you and the symbols you are about to discover. Open your eyes now, still relaxed, the cone still there, and pick up your pen. One by one, record the following common symbols and then Using your funnel as a channeling path, write down whatever information you psychically see for each symbol. Feel free to draw a symbol as well. This may give you an even clearer picture. Airplane, angel, bear, bicycle, bird, boat, book, butterfly, car, cat, chair, couch, church, computer, cup, desk, dog, dragonfly, eagle, egg, fire, flower, food, foot, fountain, grass, hawk, house, ice, knife, light, lion, moon, pen, person, phone, picture, radio, rock, roller coaster, sky, stairs, star, stone, sun, telephone, waterfall. After you are all done recording your symbolic translations, go back and reread them. Do they make sense to you? Are they all straightforward? Or do some have meanings you normally wouldn't have associated with them? Study them and notice if any other images come to you as you psychically interpret these symbols with your third eye. Keep these symbolic references in your journal as well as your mind. You never know when they will come in handy. Now that you understand how to translate these visual images, any future symbols will be that much easier to interpret. Literal or symbolic, sometimes stuff really is just stuff. Now that you are aware of what it means to receive a psychic or clairvoyant image as a symbol, it's essential to know if it's a symbol or something literal. This can be a tough call. For example, if you are wondering if you should grab something to bring home for lunch for your children from the store and you see a jar of jelly in your mind's eye, does that mean you should bring it home? Or are you seeing the jelly to represent the kids already ate? Sometimes it's more about trusting your gut instinct than trying to decipher the symbol. I have to say though, from many ignored occurrences, if you are walking through the grocery store and intuitively get a flash of jelly, buy it. I can't tell you how many times I've gone home to a husband standing there with the peanut butter, bread, and knife, but no jelly. All of the clairvoyant images you'll see come with some type of background. Again, you may experience the vision as if looking at a movie, a photo, or a film strip. You may see full color or even black and white. All of the psychic pictures will be in a setting. This is what helps me determine whether I'm seeing a symbolic message or a literal image. Clairvoyance does not follow definitive rules. Your third eye can and will surprise you and keep you on your toes. There are no absolutes. But often when I receive a psychic image, I am able to distinguish whether it's symbolic because of how it feels, clairsentiently, see chapter 4, or because there's detail in the image I'm clairvoyantly seeing. If there's only a solid color background behind the vision, it can often indicate it as representative. For example, when I see a bicycle almost floating with no color or detail, it is usually symbolic. But if I psychically see a bicycle with the ground under it and a yard behind it and possibly other bikes around it, it may indicate to me it's more of a literal message. Pay attention to the background. Another way to determine whether you're having a clairvoyant occurrence is to understand whether you are experiencing a subjective or objective episode. Often, though not always, if what you are seeing is subjective or existing in your mind or thinking mind, it is more your imagination or memory. If it is an objective vision or appearing as if it's outside of your physical thought, an object you are looking at on the outside, even though it's in your mind, it is a psychic impression. This can be very difficult to discern, even for the professional psychic, and clarity is usually only achieved through practice. I did a reading for Grayson. She came into my office without any specific goal in mind besides learning what I picked up about her psychically. After going over a lot of basic information, I tuned to something different. It was very simple, but very telling for her. It was her aha moment. I saw clairvoyantly that her mother helped occasionally with Grayson's children. And I took it a step further by telling her that her mother was frustrated by all the piles of stuff in the house. What I saw were piles of mail, magazines, clothes, toys, and even discarded items. These piles were significant to Grayson because they were all over her house. I knew the piles were a part of her home because I saw surrounding details like walls and furniture. I also saw them objectively, meaning I saw them as if I was looking at them rather than being a part of them or part of the object. Even though Grayson was happy about me providing her with the evidence that I was really psychically seeing her house, she was not happy that I could see her piles. I had to tell her not to worry. I am a much better psychic than a house cleaner myself. As shown with Grayson's reading, seeing the piles subjectively or outside of my imagination, even though they were seen with my third eye, helped me know it was literal as opposed to symbolic. Sometimes it's easy to discern, other times it's not. The most important thing to remember about clairvoyance is to be open to the images. Don't discount what you see. Exercise. Is this for real? It's your turn to not only practice your clairvoyance, but also try to differentiate between symbolic visions and literal images. Get ready. It's going to be fast. As usual, protect yourself first. Then, sit in front of the television, turned off, with your journal and a pen. Before you turn the television on, tune in to the energy of the TV. Now, write down what you think will be on the screen when you turn it on. As you are tuning in, make sure you are tapping into what will be there when you actually switch on the television, and not what's on as you are writing down the information. You need real time. It's important now to note specifics to determine whether you're seeing the literal picture or the symbolic picture. For example, if you clairvoyantly see a man, write that down. But if you are seeing Brad Pitt, write that down. You may find that the man is symbolic of whatever man is on the screen when you turn it on. Or that Brad Pitt is a symbolic of an attractive or even sexy man. You may also find that Brad Pitt is literally the man on the television channel when you turn it on. That will be the key to understanding whether you're symbolically and literally seeing with your psychic vision. There is no wrong way. Clairvoyance comes in many forms. Try it again. Maybe you see a car this time. Describe it. When you switch the TV on, is it the same car or a different type and or color car? Again, this helps you understand symbolism versus realism. Keep trying by changing the channel. Remember, for most of your psychic exercises, don't think or doubt what you are seeing. Just go with it. Don't be discouraged if you didn't hit on what was on the channel. Keep practicing. It may take time to develop your clairvoyant abilities. If you see the images correctly, congratulations. You are well on your way. Toning your clairvoyant muscles. We are all intuitive. Yes, I'm sure you've heard that before, but it's true. We really are. However, we're not all ready to be professional psychics, nor do we want to be for that matter. Developing your clairvoyance is like developing any other muscle you have in your physical body. You need to work with it regularly to have it work with you. Most people have to guide their rational mind to not only see, but also understand the visions they are receiving. Your budding talents rarely just appear with perfect clarity. Usually, they're more subtle and require training to fully comprehend. Clairvoyance, being one of the most popular or well-known psychic abilities, is like that for a reason. Sometimes it's easier to recognize the visions because we've become accustomed to seeing visions in our mind. We all have an imagination. All of us can conjure up images on demand. Clear seeing is like an extension of that. It's the ability to see images that are coming from external sources, such as our guides and deceased loved ones. Clairvoyance is also one of these senses that tend to overlap with the other senses. For example, if you are experiencing clairaudience or clear hearing, see chapter 3, you may see images to clarify or reinforce what you are psychically getting. Clairgustance, see chapter 6, will allow you to smell something that's not physically there, and your third eye will lock that smell down with images to help you understand what it is. Psychic vision is definitely a primary psychic sense, but it's kind of an adjacent one as well. It's an all-around sense that needs to be exercised in order to stay fresh and available at all times. Whether you're primarily clairvoyant or not, your third eye needs to be open to interpret the messages you are being psychically shown. These messages can be as simple as a single flash of color or as complicated as watching a movie imagery. Just think of how many visual cues you receive on a regular basis with just your physical sight. Then imagine how many you can get with your psychic sight. It's unlimited. Practicing seeing with your third eye will absolutely help you to open up now and for the future. It will take time and effort, but just think of the benefits. You will be rewarded with a glimpse into the world that you may have previously been unaware of, or you are now privy to the ancient powers of clairvoyance. Exercise. Picture this. At the risk of sounding redundant, protect yourself. Do your protection exercise to keep you free from any negative energy that may be nearby. Then find a friend. Have your friend take 5 envelopes and put a picture, a drawing, or something with detail into each of them. Have each of them be different. For example, a picture of grandma inside her house is fine, but tell your friend not to put another picture of grandma inside her house in another envelope. Instead, have them put a cat prowling in the yard, or even a Chinese food menu, or a birthday card in the next envelope. Make sure the colors, imagery, and even the feel of the pictures are not all the same. Having said that, you can't know what's going into each of the envelopes. Now, have your friends shuffle all the envelopes so they don't know which is which. We don't want them sending you clairaudient or clairsentient vibes. Then, have him or her hold up, one at a time, each envelope for you to tune into. Imagine you can see what's inside. Write down every detail you see with your third eye. What are the colors? Are there people? What are they wearing? Is there more than one person? What objects are in the picture? What shapes are there? Do you see anyone you know? Are you familiar with the photograph or the objects or the people in it? Is it something other than a photograph? Can you see the temperature by the images? For example, snow, fall leaves, pool, etc. Write down all of the details. After you're done with the first one, have your friend take the picture out of the envelope. Does it match what you saw? If yes, great. If not, why? Look at each detail you've recorded. Do the colors look close to what you saw? Are there any of the shapes the same? Give yourself credit for any similarities you see. If you wrote down a cheetah with yellows and oranges all over, and brown spots, and it turns out to be a field with yellow, orange, and brown sunflowers, great. You're getting the imagery. Now it's time for the details. If you didn't get anything at all, try the next envelope. After you're done, compare what you've written with what is in the envelope. If you did get something, keep going and don't stop until you are done with all the pictures. You may find it gets easier with each envelope to describe in full what you see with your third eye. Again, don't get discouraged regardless of how correct your interpretation was. Have your friend shuffle the pictures again and pick one. This time, though, have them look at the picture and focus on sending the image with their imagination. Let them stare at the image and psychically transmit it to you. Do this for all 5 before you compare. Does having your friend send the picture make it easier or harder? Was there no difference? Did the images come in more clearly? Did you find yourself jumping to conclusions because you know your friend? Despite the outcome, continue practicing this whenever you can to flex those third eye muscles. Sometimes seeing is believing. For some people, seeing is believing. They need to see with their physical eyes in order to believe that something is possible. Believing in a reality or the possibility of something is usually easier with visual evidence, but interpreting correctly just what it is that is being seen is not always simple. Understanding what it is you're viewing generally comes with knowledge of what the people, places, or things you are seeing. Often, it goes beyond understanding and straight to having confidence that perhaps something can be real even if you don't actually see it. Believing in the clairvoyant visions inside your mind without ever truly having any external vision to match up with them is a hard pill to swallow if you're not sure that what you're seeing is genuine. Even for professional psychics, there's usually some level of doubt or questionability. Most skilled intuitives hold a healthy degree of skepticism. Around the time my first daughter was born, I questioned my psychic ability. I mean, really. If I was truly psychic, why wasn't I able to see the lottery numbers? And why couldn't anyone else? I mean, I realized everyone was not meant to win or be rich, but I could be. I was convinced. My logical mind kicked in after that, and I came to the conclusion that for some reason I was not meant to intuit the lottery numbers. It obviously was not part of my life lesson this time around. So I had given up on the hope that it was still possible. Having gotten through that somewhat critical questioning stage brought me face to face with another. If I was able to communicate psychically and see things in my third eye internally, why wasn't I seeing anything externally? When my mother was alive, toward the end of her human existence, we talked about her own personal experiences. Soon after her sister died of breast cancer, my mother was going through her sister's clothes to figure out what to do with everything. Some things she knew she would keep, but others Mom wasn't so sure about. That is, until Aunt Jeanette showed up at the foot of her bed and began directing her. That would look really nice on Mom, Aunt Jean told my mother, speaking about my grandmother. And you should just donate that. I never liked it anyway, she continued. Item by item, she instructed my mother, giving her reasons as to why each item should be placed with whomever or should be donated. When I asked my mom if she listened to Aunt Jean, she replied with a somewhat disturbed chuckle. Of course, absolutely, to every last detail. There was no way I wasn't going to listen to her. Linda, my mom, had another somewhat chilling yet comforting experience. Right around the same time my Aunt Jean had passed, Mom's fiance, Al, died as well. It was definitely a rough time for her. She shared with me a very special moment. I was lying in bed and crying, much like I had been doing for months. I asked for some direction or some closure so I could move on, she told me. This was difficult for her, as her faith in God was somewhat disrupted by the lack of support she had experienced after her separation from my father. That, along with her scientific background in medicine, was enough to leave a bad taste in her mouth. After all, she couldn't understand how so many countless lives lost during her 40-something years as a critical care nurse. Almost immediately, she heard someone say her name, almost in a whisper. Linda. I opened my eyes and there was Al. He was standing at the foot of my bed, just like your Aunt Jean had, Mom explained. Wow, were you scared? I asked her. No, it was actually very comforting. He just told me that he loved me and he was very sorry, but he had to go. I could feel him. Seeing him was the icing on the cake. The stories my mother shared with me inspired me to question my own experience. If I was to do this work and believe it was true, I needed more. At the time, I was studying angelic communication, but I questioned their existence. How would I know if it was truly real if I only saw them in my mind's eye? I decided that I needed to see an angel physically, externally, outside of my body. Then, and only then, would I really be sure. It wasn't that I fully doubted the presence of energy or the ability to communicate. I just knew I had to witness the form of an actual angel to fully acknowledge them as beings. That night, I awoke from a deep sleep. Not because I heard my baby calling out or crying, and not even because I had to use the bathroom, which of course was very common. No, this was something different. I felt as though I was willed to open my eyes. In the darkness, in the distant corner of the room, at the very top of the stairs, stood an angel. I didn't see it in full color or like I would a human being. I saw its shape and its shadow in full form. Huge wings and all. It stood, though I don't remember it having feet, about 6.5 feet tall, large by anyone's standards. It didn't move. It just watched me from its place above the stairwell. I felt no fear, no worry. I was not confused at all. Instead, what I was looking at created a degree of comfort and gave me that additional confirmation that what I was doing, this whole psychic thing, was for real. It was kind of like an ask and you shall receive gift that I didn't really expect. Seeing the lottery numbers didn't feel quite as essential anymore. I had been given one of the greatest gifts the universe had. I had seen an angel, and for me, seeing truly was believing. Just because I was able to see an angel, a very stereotypical one at that, doesn't mean you will automatically be able to if you just ask for it. We all receive incredible visions at different times in our lives, sometimes without recognizing them for what they are. The key is to learn to understand them. Exercise. Do you see what I see? Now it's your turn. What would it take for you to believe? Think of something you'd really like to see, externally, but with your clairvoyance. It could be an angel, like I did, or it could be an answer to a question you may have. For example, you may be looking for direction as to whether or not to do something. If, as has happened to me before, you're driving down the road and see a billboard that says, if you're waiting for this sign, this is it. I'd say that counts. If you're hoping to see a loved one, allow symbolic representations to count. For instance, extraordinary daisies in an unusual location may be your vision on behalf of your mom, Daisy. Or if your best friend that you played lacrosse with has died and you want to know he is still around, don't discount the bouncing ball you thought you imagined going down the stairs that disappeared. Chances are that was your external vision. Now, the only thing you need to do is to come up with your question or your ask, and then be patient. You may have something happen right away, or it may take weeks to have your clairvoyance validated. Seeing is believing, but remember, it's not the most typical form of clairvoyance. It doesn't happen. If it doesn't happen for you, don't be discouraged. Allow yourself to continue to be open to the possibility. Using your extra set of eyes. Your clairvoyance affords you the opportunity to use not only your physical eyes, but also your third eye. You may find that the combination of the two gives you a greater perspective into everything in your life and enhances your overall perception. Clean those lenses. From here on out, you will be seeing more clearly.